Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to, I don't know what that means. I don't know why it's doing that. Welcome back to, sorry, it's a little glitch with the chat. Welcome back to day 3 of the Cheese League Baseball Tournament here on Geek Cheese. Couple of things to say first. Games are being so if you miss any days of the tournament, you can go back to our YouTube channel and check out the past streams. So days 1 and 2 are currently available. If you want to watch all 8 of those games, feel free. I guess spoiler alert, probably should have said spoiler alert, because you can kind of see the scores and the outcomes and everything here, but whatever. And then also, far as I know, it was Netherlands won over Cuba in the first game of the World Baseball Classic. Panama won over Taiwan, or Taipei, in game 2. Actually, is somebody playing? No. Next games are broadcast 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Today, the 8th. So if you're looking for something to do at 10 o'clock tonight, next games will be this one I'm kind of looking forward to. Unfortunately, I'm an Australian baseball fan. I'm an Adelaide Giants fan. Go Adelaide Giants. They play Korea at 10 o'clock. Fox Sports 1. It's not going to be a good game. Korea just has a good team. And then Panama plays again today. Netherlands. 11 p.m. on Fox Sports 2. So just an FYI on that. Netherlands actually had a surprisingly good lineup. So that is your baseball talk. And how about Cheese League Baseball? Let's talk about that, because that's why we're here. So this is how things are playing out thus far in the tournament. 3 Boomerangs are leading the Regals 2-0. Feta Fiddlers are leading the Kraken 2-0. We're going to watch a couple of those games today as we go to the home parks of both the Boomerangs and the Fiddlers, respectively. And then this Saturday, we will watch the next 2 games. That is Asiago Airplanes and Saucers, and the Provolone Prospectors and Mozzarella Maneaters. And those series are tied at 1 each. But as I said, we're going to get right to it. We're going to watch the Regals at the Boomerangs, and we're going to see how this game plays out here, folks. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Wednesday as we get things going here. The starting lineups: Kata Regals, Regal Beagles, and the Bree Boomerangs. Colton Sakaw on the mound for the home team Boomerangs at the Swagger Center. Goodman steps in, batting 1,000 so far in the tourney. As got a look at Sakaw here: 4-seamer, slider, curveball, changeup, and the fork ball, which we don't have a lot of fork ballers in Cheese League, so might actually be the only one. Down on strike she goes. That's how we lead off the game here, as Coleman steps in, batting .250 in the tournament. Drop there to Oldie, out number 2, and Ava Oliver steps in. Looking tense, big A-rated hitter, but hasn't been able to put anything together for the Regals thus far. No average, just big goose eggs. Of course, if you're new to, that one's fouled away. If you're new to Cheese League Baseball, this is our simulated baseball tournament that we're doing right now. And in the dirt, they throw down and get the third out. simulated baseball tournament here, powered by Super Mega Baseball 3 by Metalhead Software. On every system imaginable, go pick it up. This is, of course, in response to our the lack of baseball that happened in 2020. Started up Cheese League Baseball, and then yeah, now we're doing this again in honor of the World Baseball Classic. As that one is rolled to Lamb for out number 1. And here steps in Case and Oldie, 286. Having a pretty good tournament thus far. So look at Jerry Martinez. Not the greatest pitcher out of this Regals starting rotation. But he does have a slew of pitches, including a 2-seamer, 4-seamer, cutter, changeup, and a curveball. And it steps... Oh, sorry, a slider and a curveball. And Freddie Mickelson hits this one high and far, and that is gone. A tank from Freddie Mickelson. To right center field. 475-foot jack. He puts the Boomerangs on board. Now, Boomerangs are a power-hitting team. And we got the short porch, big wall, but short porch in right field. And some lefty power. Like Dirk Davila, who steps in, the catcher. And down on strikes he goes. Nonetheless, Boomerangs get a run with that Mickelson homer. Part of the order coming up for the Ricotta Regals. Dickie O'Neill, 167 on the tourney for him. So we got 2 games at Apple Field. We have 3 games here. And then back to 2 if, you know, if needed. But the Boomerangs really like to win it, or win this round of the tournament in front of their home crowd, that's for sure. As Ralph Smith steps in. 286 on the tournament for here. Jesus, I can't even speak on the tournament for him. There's a lot of things happening there. I was actually thinking I have to work after this. So I'm just thinking about all the things that I have to do after this is over, which is why I'm drinking coffee at 7:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is hit into the gap, and that's going to get a run home. And he's digging for 2. Throw comes in. He's safe. The Ricotta Regals tie it up. The RBI double with nobody out here as Byron Burgess steps in. That one's popped up behind home plate. Davila is there.
The third baseman, number 16.
And that brings up Sipwell. With 1 out, runner on second. And that one's fouled away. 1 and 2 is the count. That one's fouled away again, and we reset. And that one ducks into right field. They're not gonna go. Gonna hold the runner. So runners on the corners now. Lamb steps up. Hitless thus far in the tournament. It's frozen. All right, Para. BRB, he says. Come on back whenever you can. A little down and away action. Strike 2, 1 and 2 on Colin Lamb. And there's a foul ball. Down on strikes he goes. And now we got 2 outs, folks. Runners still on the corners here for the Regals. And Sam Plouffe up. Hitless thus far in the tourney. That one is hit high and far. It's going to go off the big wall. Conrad plays it great off the carom. The runner comes home. It's a RBI double, and the Ricotta Regals take the lead. Much better. Glad to have you back. And that one is hit quite well, but right at Buck. Out number 3. The Ricotta Regals get 2, though. As we go to the bottom of the second, 5, 6, and 7 due up for the home team Boomerangs.
Hitter, number 17.
Repo Sawhorse steps in. 222 on the tourney. So Martinez has the lead now. Let's see how he fares. Said he's not the highest rated pitcher. Been watching Ozark on the last episode. Good show. I've heard a lot of good things about Ozark. Jason Bateman, all right? Heard a lot of really good things about Ozark, but just never watched it. That was hit. But Red Oliver out number 2. Not like it takes a while for me to get into shows. And ooh, Dickie O'Neill diving stop across the diamond in the hole there. Out number 3, great play by Dickie O'Neill. Bateman's great. I love Arrested Development, the first, the seasons when it came back on Netflix or something. It came back on Netflix. It was just like meh. The final season. The original Arrested Development was excellent. And Bateman was great in that. Yeah, just skip the last season of Arrested Development. You don't need to see it. The jokes kind of become hack. It's just kind of. It's like they try to capture what they had in the past, but it just doesn't work. Down on strikes goes Oliver. Big loop and curve there, I believe. From Sakaw, and in steps Dickie O'Neill. Actually, I take that back. That might have been maybe the fork ball? I don't know. 2-1 now on O'Neill. That might have been the fork ball right there. Popped up. The fork ball in Super Mega Baseball 3 kind of plays like a knuckleball, I would say. Kind of like it's a very unpredictable pitch. That's what I mean by that. Andrew Espinosa steps in, number 8 hitter. Hitting .571, looking locked in thus far for the Boomerangs. Jacks that one, but foul into the hot dog stand area. 2-2. Foul ball. Again, 2-2. And just a little dinker drops in to left field. So kind of excuse me swing and excuse me hit. But we got a runner on first now. Pretty darn good speed on the base pass too for the Boomerangs. Ben Buck hits a little worm burner up the middle. All right, so something happening. A little base-to-base baseball here. That brings up top of the order Sally Meter. Big contact hitter here in the Boomerangs lineup with runners with excellent speed on the bases. And a double steal. Ooh, maybe a double steal hit and run. Interesting. Now 1-2 is the count. Nobody out here. Turned on that one. A little too much. A little too early. This should be 2. Plouffe to O'Neill to Martinez. It is a double play. Runner moves over to third. That brings up Oldie. So maybe a wasted opportunity here for the Boomerangs. Fouled into the stands, and it is. Plouffe takes that himself, out number 3. Boomerangs can't capitalize. We go to the top of the 4th. 5, 6, and 7 due up for the visiting Regal Beagles.
Number 22.
I was watching, I recorded the, it was a strike, and actually, as I'm saying this out loud, I have to remind myself, I have to record the, Byron Burgess steps in with one out. Top of the 4th. I have to record the Australia game, but I recorded the Netherlands and Cuba game and watched that a little bit this morning as I got ready for work. I left, and it was very early in the game. It was like, I don't know, still 1-0 Cuba. And then I was surprised when I got to work and it was 4-2 and they had lost. It was crazy. Netherlands have a hell of a lineup, folks. They're hell of a lineup. Most amazing hats and jerseys in all of the tournament. Amazing. This is a slow roller over to meter out number 3. Bottom of the 4th we go. 3-4-5 due up for the home team Boomerangs. Trying to think of who has the best logo, the best uni in Cheese League baseball. We haven't seen all the uniforms in Cheese League baseball. Yes, Cuba lost. Cuba lost to the Netherlands. That one's fouled back toward us in the booth. 1-2. Ball high, 89. I was surprised too. Netherlands have a hell of a team though. They have Xander Bogaerts. They have Didi Gregorius is on the team. They just have a lineup that's nuts. A lot of players from Curacao. A lot of players from, is it Barbados as well? I forget which else is a territory, I suppose, of the Netherlands. But yes, they lost. It's wild. And then Panama won big over, who did I say? Taipei. Won big over Taipei early this morning. But then Panama plays, this is a slow roller. Not going to be able to get 2. They get the sure out at first as the runner advances. That brings up Sawhorse. It's weird. It's like Panama was playing at like 8 this morning, but they also play at like 11. And in my head, that is a day in U.S. time. But it's like they've already slept through the night. Like my brain can't compute times. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning next Tuesday there. It's just like, what? It's so confusing. The international dateline be damned. 1-2. Great speed on the base pass here for the Boomerangs. That means nothing as Bailey Dakota goes down on strikes looking. Top of the 5th. 8-9-1 due up for the visiting Ricotta Regals. And Lamb continues to struggle here. Being over, and that was get out of the way. 1-1. And now 1-2. And Lamb down on strikes. Struggle here for the Regals second baseman. That brings up the number 9 hitter in Plouffe, who already has a hit today. That is right back to Sackhoff, out number 2. And top of the order, 0 for 2 is Goodman. 72 pitches here, top of the 5th for Colton Sackhoff, looking locked in. Guess he has a little less than half in the tank. With that walk, maybe less than what I just said. Kerry Coleman steps up. Grounder should be final out of the inning. There it is. Bottom 3rd of the order due up for the Boomerangs. And stepped Jonah Conrad, looking tense. Let's take a look here. Jerry Martinez being a lot more economical than Sackhoff with his pitches. This will be his 59th pitch here in the 5th. And here's the 1-2 to Conrad. That's a base hit up the middle. So the Boomerangs, again, seems like they keep starting the innings with guys on base. So let's see if they can capitalize as Espinosa steps in. He's 1-1, or 1 for 1 today. Jeez, I've done that so many times through these fake broadcasts. 1-1, but I should be 1 for 1. Just, it's like riding a bike, folks. You gotta get used to it. It's been a while since I've done Cheese League stuff. 2-2, and down on strikes he goes. Big breaking pitch there. Ben Buck steps up. He had a little worm burner single last time up, if you'll remember. And this is another one that almost split everyone. Wow, that was a great heads-up play to get the lead runner at second. Great heads-up play there by Dickie O'Neill. That brings up Sally Meter. With 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. And that's a foul. 2-2 now. Foul ball. I wonder if the Rays' really hot prospect is I believe he's from Australia. I wonder if I think he was actually on the Adelaide Giants. I wonder if he's going to be playing for Team Australia, because if he is, as that one is hit across diamond, Sipwell to Plouffe, out number 3. Top of the 6th we go. Go look up.
Now batting, the center fielder, number 34.
That one is hit high and far and is gone. Jesus, almost onto the highway. Is that Ava Oliver? 431-foot jack, first homer, second RBI of the tournament. Extends the lead here for the Ricotta Regals.
Now batting, the
And
shortstop,
in steps Dickie O'Neill,
number 6.
always.
Now pitching, number 48.
And Sackhoff's pulled. Not a surprise there. He was really struggling. Lots of pitches, too. Brings up Madeline Richards. Does she have kind of a sidearm action? Yeah. Down on strikes. Madeline Richards comes in, pumping strikes.
Number 22.
Little dribbler to oldie for out number 2.
Batting, the catcher, number 5.
That one splits the infielders. Sneaks through, and now we got a base runner. Sipwell steps up. I believe it's Curtis. It can't be Curtis Mead. I feel like that's not right. I guess it is Curtis Mead. That name doesn't sound right. But I think it is. That one's hit quite well, but Conrad is there to track it down. Either way, I think it might be Curtis Mead. I don't know. The name sounds wrong to me. It feels like it was somebody else. Either way, if he's playing for Team Australia, that would be exciting. Probably not, though. He jacked one. Whoever this guy is, forget his name. He jacked one kind of like that off the Yankees pitching. Off the big wall. That's going to be an easy 2-bagger. He's going for 3. Digging, sliding in safely. So a leadoff triple off the big wall here at the Swagger Center. That brings up Freddie Mickelson. Runner on third. And let's see if the Boomerangs can capitalize on this. Again, runner in scoring position. A little snow cone action there from Lamb. As the runner comes home, and now the Boomerangs within 1. Dirk Davila steps in. Hard hit grounder over to O'Neill, out number 2. And in steps Sawhorse. It'd be great to see Sawhorse just jack one here. Turn on one, jack it. Or even maybe a little oppo action over the big wall. Tie up this game. Instead he swings to that one. Martinez, 86 pitches here. Gets him. Low and outside call. Sawhorse, not a fan. I don't know if I've ever seen that animation before. That was interesting. Maybe I just never paid attention to it before. Colin Lamb steps up. Hits that one. Dakota jumps on top of it. The hot corner, out number 1. And then steps Plouffe, 1 for 2, double and RBI. Madeline Richards, by the way. 4-seamer, slider, curveball from the side armor. A little bit more of a power pitcher, I suppose, than a junk baller. 2-2. And there's a foul behind home plate. And again a foul ball. See, she's going to pump him up and in. Kinda, yes. Out number 2.
The designated hitter.
And in steps Goodman. 0 for 2. Low pitch is activated. Top of the 7th here, folks. 3-2. Ricardo Regals over the 3 Boomerangs. There's a high strike. 2-2. And that one is hit quite well. Is that going to drop in? Nah. Buck is there. Now number 3. 7th inning stretch, folks. Get up. Have a stretch. Let's see, take me out to the... Never mind. And it's over.
Number 18.
Bailey Dakota steps in. 6-7-8. Sounds like a hit. Sounds like a run here. If I'm a Boomerangs fan, of which there are many in the crowd. Of which there are many Regal Beagles fans in the crowd too. In the sea of blue, it's hard to see who's who out there. I'm actually surprised nobody's really, I mean, we've seen 2 pretty amazing home runs. 475-foot jack was ridiculous, but that's an easy, lazy pop fly out number 2. But I'm surprised nobody's turned on one and has, like, really driven it over that big wall yet. Ooh, off of the glove, and for some reason, ball had olive oil on it or something. Nobody could pick it up. And that'll chase Jerry Martinez from the game, that little dinky hit. Brings in Behringer. We've seen him before. His ERA has dropped quite a bit from his early outings. That one's popped out. Grounder Plouffe handles that one. That's out number 3. Going to the top of the 8th. Again, thank you for joining us here on a Wednesday evening. It's yeah, you know, a little simulated Cheese League baseball action. A little tournament. Honor the WBC. We've already talked a lot about the tourney. It's lots of fun to watch. There's a ball just a little low. There's maybe a gimme back pitch there. And ball 4. And yeah, it's been a while since we've done this. If you're just joining us, don't forget all the broadcasts, all of our streams here on Twitch are then posted on our YouTube channel. We got days 1 and 2 up there of the tournament already. And out. Davila throws her out. 1-1. Of course, Oliver had that dinger last time up. It's that one pretty hard, but right at Dakota for out number 2. You could also check out on our YouTube page the whole entire... There, look at that. There's our YouTube link right there. Check out the whole entire Cheese League, original Cheese League baseball season. All 120 games of it, I think, or something like that. All on YouTube. You can watch the whole darn thing back in 2020 during the pandemic to fill the void left by Major League Baseball. Grounder just curves around first base, stays fair, and that's out number 1. And a little dribbler to Lamb. He's been busy out there at second base, out number 2. That brings up Freddie Mickelson. He's the guy who had that 475-foot jack. The head, tail, the whole damn thing. Out number 3. Just Quint in that scene in Jaws. He's disconcerting for many reasons, but isn't he like eating an apple or something too? It's just like really weird. Is he eating an apple, or is he like just like peeling? For some reason in my head I feel like he's just peeling an onion and eating an onion. That's a grounder to Meter. out number 1.
Now batting, the catcher.
Or is he
Number
eating a potato? I don't know. I feel like he's eating something, right? It's such a classic movie. That one's a gapper. That gets to the wall. That's extra bases. Espinosa fields it, fires in, stand-up double. And the Colorado Regals here in the top of the 9th
the third baseman.
have a 2-out base runner.
6 now, pitching.
And
Number
Richards is
46.
out. Concentrado is in. I'm sorry, a 1-out base runner. And Sipwell steps up. I'm trying to find something near me. Down on strikes goes Sipwell.
Number 10.
My favorite is where, what kind of shark is it? It's a tiger shark. What? So excellent. In the movie Chasing Amy, as that one is dribbled, Oldie with a nice dive and stop, out number 3. Possibly saves the inning, saves a big inning, maybe. Heart of the order, all 0 for 3 coming up, though, in the bottom of the 9th, as Chris Behringer's in to try to close it out for the Ricotta Regals. In the movie Chasing Amy, they spoofed the scene where they're in the hull of the ship and they're all kind of talking, and then they start singing "Show Me the Way to Go Home." There's spoof that scene where they're all talking about their late night escapades, we shall say. But that's the reason why that one dunks in. We got a base runner here. Let's make things happen, Bree. But that's why the windows in that scene are blue to reference the blue ocean outside. Chasing Amy, amazing movie. Kevin Smith, go watch it. Watch that one after you watch Jaws. Why not? Don't have to take this abuse much longer. Favorite quote. That's such an amazing movie. Out number 1, and brings up Dakota 0 for 3.
Number 18.
Man, when I don't think I owned Jaws. Actually, I don't think I own Jaws now on like DVD or whatever. I don't think I've ever owned Jaws because it was like always on for some reason when I was a kid. We had a pool growing up, and I'd always watch it, and I'd be like, I'm not going in that water. Conrad steps up, and we're going to have Daryl Dingo, the closer, come in. Bottom of the 9th, 1 out. Runners first and second here for the Bree Boomerangs. Conrad looking to be a hero. Ground ball gets out of this inning. Ooh, a 3-2 pitch now to Conrad. Down on strikes he goes.
Now batting, the right fielder, number 33.
That's hilarious. Here's to swimming with bow-legged women. That's yesterday years old when I understood that saying. That's hilarious. So that is an endlessly quotable movie. There are a lot of really good one-liners. That one's hit to shallow center, but Ava Oliver tracks it down. The Ricotta Regals win, and they get their first win of the tournament here over the power-hitting Bree Boomerangs, who that first inning, that 475-foot jack, I thought we were going to see a lot more of that power, but they have been very, very quiet. As we take a look, hitting really coming from the bottom part of that lineup for the Boomerangs. Actually, for both teams. Tops of the orders haven't really done much. Sackall gets the loss. Martinez pitched a darn good game. He gets the win. Dingo gets his first save of the tourney, and Mickelson will get top nods. Here are the top 3 players yeah, it's a pretty good game. So the Boomerangs drop that one. Eagles pick up the win. Now we're gonna go see the Kraken battle the Fiddlers at, I believe, yeah, the Emerald Diamond. Of course, the Kraken are down. Fiddlers have played quite well. Definitely outplayed the Kraken, that's for sure. The Kraken's rotation is, you can see there. And their rating, it's not good. And let's go Kraken indeed. I'm still trying to think of who has the best uniforms. Although I do like these helmets, I will say, for the Kasira Kraken. Who's the best uniforms though in all of Cheese League Baseball? So Johnny Dukes looks at a ball, 2-1, and he pops this one up. Get a good look at the harbor. Out number 1, and in steps Freddie Fenstermacher. Feta Fiddlers have pretty sweet jerseys too. I really like the black and red scheme. Little dribbler, Everly Harris, out number 2, and Newman steps in. 143 for Dirk Newman. Number 3 hitter here in the lineup. Let's talk about Avelos. Chased Avelos on the mound. 4-seamer slider, curveball, changeup, and another forkballer. Pretty crazy. 2 forkballers in one evening. As that one has popped up. And Carter is there, out number 3. Quick 1-2-3, top of the first. As Bridget Walton will step on the mound here for the Kraken to face off against Ballstein Price. 4-seamer, 2-seamer, curveball, changeup for Walton. Ballstein Price, no hit thus far. Was he catcher? Yeah, he's a catcher. Yep, crab pasta bar. Yes, that's exactly why I did that. That's a base hit up the middle. That's his first hit of the tournament. Crab pasta bar is sponsoring the Fiddlers game. That is correct. It's not their field sponsor. It's just an ad, but it's some thought to go into that. Just like some thought went into the El Viejo Stadium, which is the Kraken home, because the El Viejo means the old, as in the old ballpark, the old stadium, and the Kraken is an old urban legend, or from the depths, from the legend, I guess. There's a double play. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. That was a double play. Think with it what you want. I don't know. And that's a grounder right through the right side. As Rose Bobbert steps in, 250 average for her. Runner on first in the bottom of the first. Pops up. And I was going to say shallow. I thought that was going to be a lot shallower than it was, but Fenstermacher's there. So yeah, so we got the Kraken play at the El Viejo because of the oldness, like I said, the legendary status of the Kraken. The Fiddlers play here at the Emerald Diamond because of the crab pasta bar. Saucers play at Red Rock Park because the Red Rocks, Sedona, Arizona is very famous for the UFO sighting. As we see Avelos just waste time and sneeze. Let's see, what other teams we got here? It's a little dribbler to Hogan, out number 1. The Mozzarella Man-Eaters, their logo is not a tiger, but it's a big cat, so they play at the Tiger Den. Provolone Prospectors play at Colonial Plaza, which is, again, it's kind of like in the desert, kind of prospectory feel when they went out and started mining in the deserts of like Nevada. Ooh, a hot shot down to Everly Harris. Nice snare, out number 2. Who am I forget? The Aeroplanes play at Big Sky Ballpark because there's an airport in the background. Ooh, it's just off his glove. A little dink off the glove of West. Allows the runner to remains safely at first. That brings up Brett Thompson, who's hitting 429 thus far in the tournament. Who else am I forgetting? The saucers, aeroplanes I did, prospect, I think that's everyone. Across the diamond, out number 3. Something like that. There was some thought that went into this. It's not just like I made a thing and then sent a tweet. Maybe I did. On that point, go check our website, geek-cheese.com. I post like random things there about the tournament. Like I just posted a couple random thoughts about the first weekend. So I'm going to try to keep posting little random tidbits about the tourney. That's a hot hit, but right at Newman as Emery Lau steps in. 444, 1 homer, 1 RBI. I know I should be TikToking. Doyle rules, and he snags that one as Tapia steps in. Should be doing some TikToks, and I probably will. Now that I actually have the videos, I probably will, because I can download the video, I can edit the video, I can use a wonderful Canva. Is this a full count to Tapia? Down on strikes he goes. Fooled him. Is that an off speed? Is that like a little change up in the outer part of the plate? Yeah. Yeah, I think we share a Canva account anyway, right, Par? Something like that. We share a workspace on there, I think, for something that we did at one point. Ball in the dirt. That looked like a quick pitch there by Avelos. That was weird. And walks him. So Doyle walks. Doyle rules. Melissa Rodriguez steps in. 0 for thus far in the tourney. I've done much more complicated stuff. Yes. I've also made my life much more complicated. Down on strike she goes. And this is top of the order. I believe in Johnny Dukes steps in with 1 out, top of the 3rd. And there is a base hit up the middle. So 2 on, 1 out for the Kraken here. Trying to make things happen on the base pass, perhaps. Just by a little base hit action. Just possibly like that. They're not going to get 2. So they do split the runners, though. So we got on the corners, Newman up, 2 outs, and top of the 3rd. That went through him. It's like a ghost pitch. They're going to try to go here. There's no real point in trying to steal second, I suppose. Not trying to break up the double play or anything. 3-1 to Newman. And that one has popped up, got well under it. It's a mile high. Can of corn, though. Out there for Carter. And that's out number 3. So Kraken strengths base runners. We go to the bottom of the 3rd, scoreless. Here at the Emerald Diamond, Gertie Carter steps in. 8, 9, and 1 duo. Yeah, the first Cheese League season, I definitely made a lot more complicated and a lot more work than I probably should have. That is a base hit scorcher through the right side. I feel like the Fiddlers have a lot of runners on too, though. I should probably start paying attention to the game that I'm talking over. Oh, excuse me. Right at Freddie Fenstermacher. When I played the outfield all like 6 times that I did, I hated those because somebody hits it right on the buttons like that. Sometimes the ball looks like it's like knuckling at you, and it looks like it's spinning weird. I hated the outfield. Put me at one of the corners and I'm fine. Right back toward us in the booth. 1 and 2 now on Ballstein Price. Runner on first. And again, Fenstermark was busy out there in center field.
Now back, the second baseman, number
Brings up Alfredo West. Slow roller to Doyle, out number 3. So the Fiddler's stranded base runner. And we go to the top of the 4th with Pippa Othello up. Power hitter here. Haven't seen any power from her whatsoever though. Round to the west, man. This is a ground ball fest right now as Rohan Suzuki steps up. Hitless thus far in the tournament. Grounder to West, out number 2. And that brings up Aubrey Flowers, 1-for-1 single thus far today. And that'll be an easy out for Hogan. And a quick 1-2-3 inning. He was zipping right along here. 3, 4, and 5 do it for the Fiddlers. And Harris steps in 1-for-1 with a single. Just carousing. Carousing for a bruising. 2 and 2. And Harris just kind of safety swing at that. Strikes her out though. That brings up Rose Bobber. Grounder to Thompson, out number 2. And Layla Hogan steps up. Hogan looking tense. Hitting 200, 1 homer, 2 RBIs. Just kind of waved at that one. And that one popped up. Gets into the stands. Let's take a look at Bridget Walton real quick. 46 pitches. Looking locked in as Hogan goes down on strikes and chases that. While we're doing that, let's take a look at Chase DeVelos. His top, or the bottom third of the order is up now for the Kraken. Chase DeVelos looking locked in as well. So we got a pitcher's duel. We got an old-fashioned pitcher's duel here. Those Kraken helmets are pretty sweet. I love that color. Let's base hit up the middle. Again, the Kraken starting the inning with a base runner. Just really not making it happen otherwise.
How about the second baseman, number 55.
That brings up Doyle. Sense a home run. And we shall see. Doyle looks at that one, 2 and 1. And now 2 and 2. Down on strikes. Doyle goes.
The third baseman,
Maybe it'll be Melissa Rodriguez to hit the home run. She's been 0 for thus far. So Rodriguez, I like the batting stance here. So it's off the end of the bat. Double play. Just a little choke and poke action. Choke up in the back, poke it. Only she choke and ground out. That's what she did. Emery Lau now steps in. Bottom of the 5th. And this is what it's been, folks. A lot of action here in the infield on both sides. Just a lot of ground ball. Ground ball out. So as Tapia steps up. It would be Tapia to break this scoreless tie. Hits that one really hard. That drops in. Base hit. Your senses do suck, yes. The spidey sense about a home run. And it was false. This one might drop. Yes, it does. It drops in. They thought about going to 3, but nothing doing. So runners on first and second now. Harlow, Cray up. Good speed on the base pass for the most part here for the Feta Fiddlers. If anybody's going to hit a home run, actually it might be Cray. Nah, she's going to ground into a 3-6-1 inning ending double play. It's a nice little view of the Hob.
Now batting, the designated hitter, number 14.
And Johnny Duke steps up top of the order here for the Kraken. He's 1 for 2 thus far today. Velos, 65 pitches, looking pretty good. Out there yet. Does this dink in? I guess it does. That drops in. Going for 2. Very bold. Slides safe.
Now batting, the center fielder, number
That
6.
brings up Freddie Fenstermacher. All right, Kraken got a runner in scoring position here, top of the 6th. He is right on the chalk. That's how chalk dust flying up. It's not. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? An error here. A mental block and an error, a base running blunder for the Kraken. If it's hit on that side of the field, you don't go. He went, and the Kraken just blundered that opportunity. That's disheartening. Good speed on first though, as Newman looks at a strike and now fouls that one away. 1-2. Runner goes. Testing the arm, and he's safe. Well, strikeout, though, at home plate. That puts the runner in scoring position, but now there are 2 outs as Pippo Othello steps in. Yes, Kraken making errors. It is very odd. They made a very big error. That actually, if we'll go back and we'll say if they lose this game, the top of the 6th is when the Kraken lost. That's what we will say. Although the Seattle hockey Kraken looked pretty darn good last night. They looked pretty darn good. That was fouled away. They had a big 5 win over the Anaheim Ducks. A game they absolutely should have won, and they did handily. I did not catch the craziness last night with Vince Dunn. I did not. Actually, I didn't watch the highlights this morning. I just looked at the score quick, and I was like, I want to turn on the Netherlands Cuba game. This one is hit high and far, and it's drifting, but right in front of the warning track. Newman catches it, out number 1. Runner retreats. And that brings up Everly Harris, 1 for 2. With a single, good speed on the base pass. For the Fiddlers here at bottom of the 6th, and Harris swings through that one. I got to check out the highlights now. Or maybe they won't. If it was like a fight or something like that, they probably won't have it on the highlights. They don't. Down on strike she goes. Got elbowed in the face. All right. This is Vince Dunn last night in the Kraken hockey game. That one's fouled away. Got elbowed in the face, then penalized for tripping the guy who elbowed him. Put him in the box, and then pulled him out because he was bleeding and very angry. Hockey's so great. Hockey's so stupid and great. This is a base hit into the gap. That's going to go all the way to the wall. It's pretty deep out there, 4-13. A runner comes home, and the Feta Fiddlers break the scoreless tie with a RBI double here in the bottom of the 6th. 2-out RBI double. He got elbowed while tripping, so no one knew what to do. I It's a grounder to short. Out number 3. The Fiddlers get a run. They break the tie. We go to the top of the 7th. He's cursing and bleeding all the way back to the box. That's hilarious. Yeah, Dunn, I don't know. Dunn's hilarious when he does the interviews with Piper Shaw. He's like, he's not afraid to like just blow his nose into his shirt while talking to her. He's disgusting. He's a disgusting human. So Suzuki kind of just turned on that one. He's seeing some good pitches here, 2-2. And 2-2 again. And again we reset. And that little squibber goes under the glove of shortstop, so Hogan. So got a base runner again for the Kraken. Start the inning off with a base runner. Flowers steps in. Flowers hits a towering fly ball, but that's a can of corn for Cray Cray. And we got one out here, top of the 7th. Let's take a temperature check on Avelos while we can. 88 pitches. Looking locked in yet. Gets Brett Thompson to swing. Ugly swing through that. Just kind of like tied him up. And that one's foul. But definitely movement in the velocity, junk, and accuracy meters. Almost got Thompson chasing on that one. And that's a hit into the gap. Could this tie the ball game? Bobbert fires home. West cuts it off. They scored. The Kraken tie it up on the RBI double. And that brings up Jacob Doyle with one out here. In the top of the 7th. Kraken are threatening. Maybe getting to Avelos as she's at 96 pitches now. Losing some stuff on the velocity as we see it in the red. This might actually be her last hitter. That one's fouled away out of the stadium. That went. That is tanked. That is high and far. That is a no-doubter. That is gone. A 432-foot jack, Doyle's first homer, 3rd RBI of the tournament, and that puts the Kraken up 3-1. You did call the home run was coming, just didn't really specify. That chases Avelos from the games, and Tirehead comes in. First look here at Remy Tirehead. Ooh, just past the diving first baseman. As Johnny Duke steps in, 2 for 3, having a good game. The Kraken leadoff hitter and DH. One out still, folks. One out here in the top of the 7th. Popped up in the infield. The infield fly didn't count there for some reason. That brings up Fenstermacher 0 for 3. Ooh, just almost hit his foot. Fenstermacher gets out the way. And 1-2 is the count now. Down on strikes he goes. Out number 3, but the Kraken get 3 runs here. Top of the 7th, they now lead it 3-1. Go to the bottom half of the frame. Emery Lau leads it off. And Bridger Walton's back out on the mound. This is her 80th pitch, being pretty economical out there. Like I said, still looking locked in. Little skipper dipper up there, though, as that one's fouled away. And a base hit up the middle. That actually might be it for her. That might be it. We'll see. Tapia steps in, 1 for 2. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised at that. But sometimes I know the algorithm, sometimes I don't, of this Sim Baseball League. 1 and 2 on Tapia. And ripped but foul Back to 1-2. And inside 2-2. Jacked high and far. Does that stay in the yard? No, it just sneaks over the wall. A 2-run homer, and Messiah Tapia ties up the ball game. 399-foot shot. Second homer, third RBI of the tournament. That might chase her from the game. Yes, it does. Casey Koch comes in, and in steps Gertie Carter. So, completely different ball game now. Now we're into the bullpens. Ooh, and he plunks her. So now we're just giving free bases away. So, very interesting. Casey Koch's accuracy in the red. Looking tense already. This could get ugly. He's going to walk her here. Yes, he does. Koch is all over the place. Of course, in Super Mega Baseball, you got to pitch to 3 batters before you can get taken out. Great speed on the base pass here for the Fiddlers as well. Not looking good for the Crackheads. 1-2. That one is jacked. High, far, gone. A 3-run home run. Again, just sneaks over the wall. 377-foot shot. First homer, third RBI of the tournament for Price. They take the 6-3 lead. And things are falling apart. That should not chase Koch from the game. I don't understand. I don't understand. He's looking rattled up there. Ugh. Hit. Oh, God. That's back-to-back jacks he just gave up. Back-to-back jacks. And now it's just batting practice. 428-foot shot. West second homer, third RBI of the tournament. 7-3 now. Fiddlers lead it. So does that chase him from the game? It does not. What is going on in the Kraken bench? That's a base hit up the middle. No outs, folks. No outs. Stays in. I don't know what's going on. It's batting practice now. With him on the mound, it's batting practice. Hogan steps in. Hogan is going to tank one right here. About a mile into the harbor. She gets a good pitch. Actually, might not see a good pitch from Koch, though. Ooh, okay. A little break there for the Kraken. Foul ball down the line. Runner's going to advance to third, but that's actually not terrible with runners in the corners and Lau up. That sets up the double play, and we're going to see Delgado come in. Out of the Kraken bullpen. We want a pitcher, not a belly itcher. We want a batter, not a chicken bladder. Ooh, I thought he went there for a second. 3-1. Ball 4, walks him, boy, oh boy. This is not good. I was worried about this with the Kraken. A little line out, and Doyle tries to double him up, but doesn't, but at least there are 2 outs now. 2 for 2, 2 singles hit by pitch from Gertie Carter. I think they've actually batted around the order now, haven't they? Bases juiced. Grounder. A little slow roller. Doyle, good. Oh my God. Doyle throws it in the dirt. Thank God. Pippa Othello over there. They get 6 runs. Bottom of the 7th. They now lead it 7-3. Different ball game here, folks. Different ball game. Ball in the dirt. 1-1 on Newman. That Kraken bullpen is just tough. Kraken team is, yes, Kraken is the team with mostly, as I punch my microphone, that one is hit high and far, does not have the distance, just got under it. Kraken is the team with mostly this C starting rotation. The Fiddlers have, that one's hit high and far, but foul. Fiddlers have an okay, their rotation, if I do recall, is very up and down. Their whole pitching staff's like really, really good. Really, really good top of the rotation. Then the rest of the rotation is kind of meh. But then really, really good middle relief. And then the rest of the bullpen is meh. And then really, really good closer. If I do recall, I think that's how it goes. 2 outs though here. Suzuki up. Looking at strikes from Tirehead, who's in there settling down. But yeah, the Kraken rotation is pretty much a B+ pitcher and then all C's. But that C-rated pitcher had a great game today. Pitched really, really good up until the 6th or 7th inning. Brings up Cray Cray facing off against Delgado here in the bottom of the 9th or 8th. Try to get a chase in the dirt. 9, 1, and 2 due up. Those players, it's a very good question. Will those stats change or will they always be that? They will always be that. I can manipulate stats on the back end, but I don't. However, so season 1 here of the tournament, we're calling it. Season 2, I'm going to be manipulating some things, some C-rated guys I'm going to get rid of. There are going to be some manipulations, and then people are going to enter into a draft. So it's kind of the plans that I have moving forward. That might happen more toward possibly the All-Star break-ish in Major League Baseball. So there's going to be some manual manipulation. That one's foul. Ooh, just foul though. 1 and 2. Good speed on the bases here for the Fiddlers. So I guess I should strike 3. I should say that as Harris steps in 2 for 4, 2 singles. We're going to see Hayes coming out of the bullpen. In the franchise mode, things are a little bit different in Super Mega Baseball 3. Franchise mode, you can, as you're the head of the franchise, you can get players power-ups. So there is a little bit more dynamicism. It's a little more dynamic. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You can manipulate things by getting guys power-ups and stuff like that. You can also sign players. You can release players. I have a franchise going where I got a guy who's a B-rated player, and I just stacked him up and powered him up until now he's like an A-rated player. Dynamistic. Band name called it. Just past the diving third baseman. Top of the 9th here, folks. Fiddler's looking to close it out here. I could make, as Espinosa comes in, there is the B- rated Espinosa. Pretty decent closer. I could theoretically make Kraken pitching, yes. Yeah, I could. Yep. I can manipulate all that kind of stuff. Strikeout, Doyle steps in. 1 out, runner on first here for the Kraken in the top of the 9th. So the plan is, potentially the plan is that C-rated players go away, possibly. Players will have, as that one has popped up to right field, Bobbert puts it away. Players will have, through roll of dice, manual kind of stuff, players will have option to stay with the team or to leave and enter the draft pool to be drafted by another team for the tournament. So if you get rid of all those C-rated players too, that means that you're going to have pretty much B and up. So the game should be more action-packed, I guess you should say. Players that enter the draft will go into the draft pool. Last place finishing team. I'm going to figure all that stuff out as the Fiddlers close it out here. So there's going to be a lot of manual manipulation in the back end, manual changing of players and everything. But what should happen is that, so like the Kraken, for example, their team is really has a really terrible pitching staff. If they finish last in the tournament, have the worst record, or however I figured that out, they could they could pick pretty good players in the draft, and they could be the top-rated team then in the next season. So it's going to kind of be a moving target, and I'm like, that's a lot of manual manipulation on the back end for me. But I actually do that anyway in a season that I'm running on my own, just because I'm a nerd and I just like to do simulated baseball stuff. So I have another season going with another league that I created that doing that. Like, I'm looking at the lineups. I have all the lineups set. I had not a draft. I have like free agents. I have other things. I have contracts set up. It's like all this kind of, it's just a giant spreadsheet. That's pretty much all it is. It's spreadsheet baseball. So the Fiddlers, they win, and they now lead 3-0 over the Kraken. And yeah, it was that top of the sixth base running blunder that pretty much ruined it. Ballstein, Price, Tapia, big games. Doyle had a good game for the Kraken there in the third spot. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and I'm thinking of how to do the draft and everything for the tournament, because I want to keep this league kind of as a tournament. I've kind of decided it's just a little more manageable. I'm actually probably going to reduce the number of innings just because that's a little more manageable for me too. Eventually, I'm thinking this goes to a instead of an 8-team tournament, it goes to a 16-team tournament. This is way down the road. If it ever gets to that point, honestly. It probably won't get to that point. But I have an idea for a 16-team tournament and the way I could do it. So I can do a lot of those games offline or without the announcing, without the streaming, without the whatever. And then we just come back. I don't know. This is a lot of stupid stuff that I need to figure out in my free time. All right, well, that's it. That's the stream. And that's it. That's anticlimactic. We're going to come back on Saturday, and we're going to watch the Stilton Saucers and the Provolone Pandas, the Stilton Saucers and the Asiago Airplanes, the Provolone Prospectors, and the Mozzarella Maneaters. We're going to watch those teams duke it out on Saturday, so look for that. And that's it for the stream, folks. Have a great night. I got to go work now for the rest of the evening. And yes, that is it. So thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Take care. Bye.